Alright guys, so I'm going to be reacting to basically which 5-star you should choose. We're going to be watching a video made by a creator named Ziox, and he's going to be doing a much better job at explaining which 5-star you should go for. Obviously, I'm going to give my input as well. But yeah, let's get right into it and see what he has to say.
And Lingyang, but more on that a bit later. And with that said, let's get right into it.
Here we
For
go.
the first character we have to talk about, it is Verina. Verina is an absolutely broken support character. She's a healing support character, and there honestly are not a lot of supports or healers in this game right now. She can give you healing, doesn't need to spend too much time on field, and also gives you a ton of buffs. She can...
A good thing about this is that because she's like the only really 5-star healer, this solidifies her. She has the best healer hands down. So what this means is if you do end up picking her, you honestly can't go wrong with your account, because having a 5-star, having the strongest healer in your disposal will only be a good thing, right? So yeah, I agree with him on that. And she's also buffing, like he's about to explain. Let's see what else he has to say.
Have a sort of follow-up attack alongside your active character, gives all of your party attack and damage buffs, and also has good party-wide healing. Her outro skill is great, and as I said, she does not need to spend a lot of time on field, acting as a very efficient support character. You can run her with so many different characters, and I think that as of right now, because Wuthering Waves on release doesn't have that many really strong support characters, Verina is a 5-star that's going to be of high priority on many accounts, in my opinion, for a long time, because of how efficient she is overall, and also the fact that you need 3 teams for some content, meaning that even if they release future support characters, Verina should still be really good. Because of
3 teams? Wait, what? Most of the tower content in these gacha games require 2 teams, but he said 3 teams. Well, this guy played the beta, a few of the betas. I think he played all the betas, I'm not sure. But he did say that in the video. And so he would have more knowledge in the game than me. That's why I prefer to watch this video and him explaining it, because I don't have access, or I didn't play with all the characters. I might be able to read it on paper, but playing the character might be a little different, right? There's might be techniques that you can do that can make the character better or worse. So Verina, guys, she sounds amazing. Buffing, attack, heals, doesn't need to be on field as much. And her outro skill, which is like when you swap her out, she has a bonus effect. That's also really good too that he explained. I forgot what it was, but she seems overall like a good unit, you know. She's kind of like Bailu in Star Rail. She was like the only 5-star support, which she was like the most broken support at the time. But as the game goes on and they come out with more characters, obviously she might get phased out. Same with just with any unit really, right? As the game goes on, then there's power creep. But for now, Verina seems solid, guys.
this, I can almost always recommend her if you're a fan of support characters, her gameplay, or just really care about meta. Next up, we have Calaro. Calaro is really cool for many reasons. First of all, Sephiroth, but more importantly, he's an Electro main DPS that does a lot of damage. He's a solid standard banner main DPS character who also synergizes really well with Yinlin.
I can't wait, bro. Alright guys, spoiler alert, this is the character I'm going after. Sephiroth. That's all I gotta say. Nah, he has a samurai sword. He looks cool. Thunder effects look awesome. He looks really fun to play. That's enough for me, honestly. Like, at this point, I don't really care what the abilities do, but no. Seriously, he is a powerful character. When you do his ult, he just gets like a crazy damage boost and does a lot of damage. He's a very on-field heavy character as well, and he's gonna pair up amazing with Yinlin, which is gonna be the next banner character after Jian, and she is a damaging character, but when she gets off the field, she also has a very strong effect that she'll have thunder damage, like kind of like Raiden Shogun. I'm not comparing her, but like, you know, she's gonna have, when she procs her ability, when you swap characters, you'll be able to do more damage with her thing being out and her not being on the field. But yeah, Calaro.
More on that in a future video when she's actually released. What you need to understand about Calaro is that he's a character who deals a huge amount of his damage after using his Resonance Liberation, his ultimate.
My bad, guys. I had to adjust the mic.
Your attacks will be enhanced and you'll deal a lot of damage, spending a lot of time on Calaro as a sort of on-field hyper carry. And it will also buff his next intro skill when you swap back into him. Now, something you need to keep in mind with this character is that he does a ton of damage after using his ultimate. You have a fixed amount of time to do all this damage, or you have to be on field with him, focusing enemies down, and things can go wrong. Like, you need to execute his combos, enemies can run away, bosses can knock you back if you get hit. But for the most part, a ton of damage inside of this window is good, very satisfying, very strong, and also has room to show off your skill if you can pull off the combos and not make mistakes.
Okay, so basically, guys, when he ults, you have a certain fixed amount of window where he's gonna do the most damage, and that's where he's gonna shine. So bosses hitting you around and stuff is gonna affect you, or enemies knocking you back. So you gotta be on point when you bring him on the field when his ultimate is out, and dodging and parrying. And then on top of that, he's very combo heavy, so you're gonna want to make sure you do the combos correctly to get the maximum damage output. You heard it here, folks. Skill-based character.
Even if you're just mashing your left mouse button, you can get a lot of value out of Calaro inside of his ultimate as a very strong carry in my experience that I would...
Oh, well, alright, I kind of take it back. He just said mash the left button. But I'm guessing, though, if you do the combos correctly, you get rewarded more. I like that playstyle.
Would be happy to recommend. I also want to point out that while Calaro did get nerfed since the second closed beta, I'm actually recording this after the game's already out since this video got delayed anyways, he just kind of was overtuned, but now he still remains a solid and good DPS option on top of having a very fun and unique playstyle.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of characters I heard got nerfed too, especially the 4-star girl, Jianxin. She was crazy, like doing crazy damage, outperforming 5 stars too, and he's a 5-star and he got nerfed as well. So, I mean, you know, it's beta, you know, obviously they're going to correct that when the game comes out. So I think they got it down packed on the scaling and stuff now, so that's good.
As shown previously. Next up, we have another DPS character with Encore. Encore is a really cool character.
I used this character in beta when I had her. She's cool. I just don't like that her E, she has to be set in one position, shooting out like little red missiles. She's a DPS character. But I don't like that she stays stationary. Like, you can't move her with the E. If not, you'll have a DPS loss. Other than that, her ultimate is pretty cool. She does a lot of damage. And then her hold attack, she tries to summon this teddy bear, but you can swap her out with another teammate, so you don't have to be on the field while waiting for her to do that. He'll explain. You'll see.
Character, in my opinion, was a very unique way of dealing damage. She starts out as a ranged character at a baseline, dealing damage from afar,
she's like a mage.
And with her ultimate, will start dealing a significant amount more damage, having a very powerful ult that will turn her into a melee carry. She has really fun combos that are pretty easy to use in my experience. You can kind of ooga booga and get a lot of value out of her, but there are also some rooms for optimization. For example, something you need to be aware of is that her charge attack, or heavy attack, with her forte circuit, can do a huge amount of burst damage, but the animation is super long.
Yeah, this is the hold attack. This is the hold attack I was talking about.
Animation canceling or swapping out once the animation starts, where Encore will kind of stay there doing her little thing as you swap out into another character and are able to DPS on them while the animation happens. While I said she's somewhat straightforward to play, there are some things you need to be mindful of, like it being very difficult to parry with her outside of her ultimate. For the most part though, she has really solid damage.
Yeah, because you gotta like, her E makes her stationary. When she's not in her ulted state, her E makes her stationary, which kind of is the downside.
A ton more
because when you parry, you lose a lot of damage.
Is a character that I find really cool, very fun to play, and also I like her little sheep puppet thing.
She is cool though. She is cool. She's enjoyable to play. Not my favorite though, but she is cool.
I think they're really cute. Alright, now moving on, we have two very unique characters with Jianxin and Lingyang. First of all,
Jianxin is the character I pulled in beta. She's basically an overall character that puts shield, can heal herself, can pull people in because of her ultimate and her auto attacks. Not the biggest pull. We're not talking Venti or anything on that level, but she's pretty balanced, right? Venti was broken. Venti's from Genshin Impact. If you guys don't know who that is, look up some clips on YouTube so you guys can see how busted that character was when it first came out. She's not on that. She's more of a balanced overall character that can basically do almost everything: support, damage, and provide utility. Solid character. Honestly, I was kind of, bashing her in my some video, but as I get to play with her more and more, you get to appreciate her, right? Her play style. So, and when her outro skill, she can buff somebody's ultimate right? So if you swap her out into, let's say, Calaro, his ultimate's gonna get buffed. Jian, his ultimate's gonna get buffed by a decent amount. So she's a pretty good all-around character that does damage and provides utility. Pretty good.
Well, for Jianxin, she is very much a jack of all trades in the sense that she kind of does a bit of everything. She's an on-fielder who can build up shields as she does a heavy attack, with this shield getting better and gaining more effects along.
Oh, also, I pulled her in my main account now, so I'm using her now. That's why I know all this.
You hold her heavy attack. It's a long and somewhat clunky animation, but it will make you tankier, and then the shield will persist and heal your active character for either your Jianxin or someone else if you choose to swap. Additionally, her skill has a parry where she won't take damage and will unleash a counter hit.
The parry is good too on her E. When you hold it, she parries, she holds, and it's a counter. So once she gets hit, she does damage back and doesn't take damage. This is really strong too.
If you hold her skill,
if you let it go, you can activate it earlier to do damage as well. Very strong character, man. I'm not gonna lie.
And then get hit. Her ultimate is a form of grouping, essentially the best one we have right now, that can group a lot of enemies efficiently with this sort of vortex, notably being good against light and displaceable enemies.
The big combo she does is you ult and then press when her gauge, her forte circuit, which is the gauge in the bottom, gets full. If you hold attack, she does like this pull area of effect damage that hits everybody while her ult is going off. It's a pretty awesome combo, and I can see big numbers happening.
Against bosses or like elite heavy enemies, this won't work, so keep that in mind. It won't.
Yeah. It's not that good against bosses though. Against mobs and stuff is good, like in tower, right? But bosses, they can just get out of it. It's not gonna be that good. Same with Venti, right?
Won't really help that much, but she can be really good in AoE situations against a lot of light and displaceable enemies. Additionally, it's worth pointing out that she does give you an ultimate buff on her outro skill to the next character you swap into, who will gain 38% resonance liberation damage for a set amount of time or until they swap.
There you go, 38%, guys. When she swaps out, 38% more to imagine to Jianxin or Calaro or to Encore, right?
Personally, I think this is going to be one of the main ways to play her, alongside her shield, grouping, and this big buff on her outro skill, giving her a supportive role that fits the quick swappy style of this game, spending some time on her, doing damage, getting a big shield, grouping enemies, and then buffing your next character's alt damage, making this character have, in my opinion, a lot of untapped potential if she's someone that you like. Not a must by any means, but a solid choice if you like the character. Lastly,
yeah, if you like the character, right? She's solid.
We have Lingyang. This is actually the first 5-star character
I pulled this character, and honestly, it's my least favorite character. His E is like something you're trying to use to combo with, but it's not really as rewarding to combo with. You kind of lose track of using it to try to combo with sometimes, and it's not that good. It's good to like parry on command, and then his ultimate is like him just floating in the air, just doing a bunch of kicks and stuff, and the E can like reposition you. But that's about it. This character is more of a single target damage dealer and on command parry person, which is alright.
I got in the closed beta of Wuthering Waves, and I actually used him as a main DPS for a decent amount of content. Lingyang is a character that acts as a hyper carry. He has a very unique playstyle where you will jump in the air and kind of stay there, float in the air and do a bunch of punches and kicks, attacking you really fast, allowing him to do a ton of damage to enemies in his very unique lion dance state, which is unlike any other character. Lingyang can be good at DPSing down a boss or an enemy that you can knock up, and if you enjoy his unique playstyle, then I think he could be a good choice for you. Now,
this guy low-key felt like a glorified 4-star to me, right? But that's my opinion.
With that in mind, I want to say that how much DPS he can actually do, how good or bad he is, will depend on a lot of things, especially because he is effectively airborne a lot of the times, and things can be...
I'm gonna say it straight up now. I think he's the worst unit out of all of them.
Weird when that happens. It's a really unique playstyle that I think is very fun and interesting, but it can be hard to like catch up to enemies sometimes, or enemies can have weird hitboxes, or sometimes I noticed getting stuck in animations without...
I bless and hope you guys don't pull this guy on your beginner banner.
really understanding why, even after playing this character for multiple hours. Now, this can be a skill issue. I'm not blaming the character. Just keep in mind that there's a lot of unique mechanics, and it's a very different gameplay when you're using him, as in his line dance state, he's effectively in the air, running around, dealing fast instances of damage, and being a character that you usually want to spend a lot of time on as a main carry. His DPS can range from fine to...
I mean, he is glacial, right? So it's like the main glacial 5-star damage dealer we got, but still, I don't think it's not gonna justify for me. I don't care how busted he would have been. He's just not fun for me. Maybe you might find him fun, but not for me.
Good, depending on how optimally you can use him, and I am inclined to believe...
And his kit didn't feel good either to me.
...that he will feel smoother in the live version of the game, but at least as far as the...
No, he's the same. Didn't change.
...general consensus goes, he's not as recommended of a pick as the other DPSs, namely Calaro or Encore. His playstyle is very unique, he's fun and can still clear content, and since launch, again, future Ziox here, I genuinely have found that he feels less clunky and more satisfying to play, but I can't tell if I just got better at the game and more used to his mechanics, although a big part of me thinks that they did do some improvements here, and he genuinely does feel more fluid, more smooth, still some...
Damn, that boy was comboing him right there, I'm not gonna lie, shit.
Clunkiness can happen, but I found less of it, although I could use some other people's testimonies here for confirmation. And so overall, what is the consensus?
Overall, my consensus is stick to the left three. Verina, Calaro, Jianxin, you can't go wrong with these. If you don't want Calaro as your main DPS, you can go with Encore, right? These two, right? Great. I would recommend Verina, Calaro, and then Jianxin, Encore. And then Lingyang last, but you can also do Verina, Calaro, Encore as your DPSs, and then Jianxin and Lingyang last.
Obviously,
but let's see what you gotta say.
As I said at the start, you should first of all choose who you like. If there's a character that you either want to main,
that too. So it doesn't really matter about meta, right, or damage. Mainly, I was basing, I was doing kit and my how much I like, but pick whoever you think you're gonna have fun with the most, who you like the most. Character wise or whatever, but my first answer was like overall.
Use as your main DPS or even as a support, someone you just really like and want on your account, or someone whose playstyle suits you. Their appearance, visuals, animations, or gameplay is something that you think you'll enjoy.
Preach.
Then I think that's what you should go for. Now, obviously, that's a almost cowardly answer. I know you want me to just tell you a character a lot of the times, but before I get there, just understand that if there's a character for you where you really like them and you'll get more enjoyment out of them, then there's no reason not to pick them, because obviously, getting more enjoyment out of the game is very important. Now, as far as my recommendations, while things may change, for now, what seems to be the case is that Verina is absolutely broken. She's a support that I highly recommend.
Great support, man. Verina's amazing. Verina, Calaro, Jianxin, Encore, and Jianxin, and Encore, and then...
If you want a support character / a healer on your account. If you already got her in the beginner pools, or if you want a DPS to carry you through the game, then either Calaro or Encore would be my recommendations. They're both a bit different. Calaro is more popular and synergizes well with Yinlin. He's a top recommendation.
And he's cooler.
In my opinion, for DPSs, but Encore also has...
And he synergizes really well with the new 5 Electro unit that's coming out soon.
Unique gameplay, and it's very strong if used correctly as well, and I don't think she's that hard to use. Just animation cancel her heavy attack and try not to get hit, because parrying on her can be annoying. Regarding Jianxin and Lingyang, these are characters where it's if you like them, pick them. If not, maybe. With Jianxin in particular, she kind of does a little bit of everything. She can be your one-man or one-woman army, tanking, parrying, shielding, grouping, and also spending time on field. Her animations can be a bit clunky. I think there's a lot of potential. I think a lot of people are going to use her and clear content with her solo, while also being a good support to add.
She's good. She's solid. Solid pick. You can't go wrong with her either.
Your roster to make you tankier and give you a buff through her outro skill. On a similar note, Lingyang is a solid DPS.
Last but not least, where he belongs.
I don't think he's as generalistic as the other ones that I mentioned. I personally would choose Calaro or Encore first, but Lingyang...
Any day, Calaro or Encore over this guy, or any of the other units over this guy. Damn, I'm hitting hard on Lingyang. My bad.
Has very unique gameplay.
I mean, I have him, so I feel like it's okay for me to say, right?
So if you like him and want to master him, then feel free. Again, keep in mind that things may change. I will update a pinned comment if there's new things I want to add. If this video helped, I would love it if you liked and subscribed. Then be sure to come.
Yo, subscribe and like the video for Zyx. Thank you so much for the awesome video, Zyx. I appreciate it, man. You did a blessing and a great job. Way better than I would have covering these, especially since you got your hands on the character. So thank you so much. Make sure you guys subscribe to Zyx. Also subscribe to me if you guys like the video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Good luck. I think the 5-star selector, we should be getting it soonish here in the next day or two. It's the 25th. I think the 26th that we're about to get it, guys. So hopefully this video finds you helpful. Peace.